subscribe, and share. This is how I can get more work done, and this is how I can get my work out there. All right. So this video is about a very special topic indeed, more on Saturn and Venus. So we know that Saturn and Venus, let me just get the exact dates. Yeah. So Saturn and Venus were conjunct, okay, February 15th, 2021. Again, they will be conjunct October 3rd, 2021, May 20th, 2022, and Jan 4th, 2023, because Venus will be retrograding in this zone. Okay. Now they are meeting in Aquarius, right? They sort of started a whole new cycle, and I will explain to you, go more in depth about Saturn and about Venus. Now, remember that in esoteric astrology, Aquarius is a very special sign because Aquarius not only rules the future, Aquarius determines the future. Before we progress any further, you must completely understand this concept that it is, after all, the age of Aquarius that we are going to experience soon. The exact age, the exact beginning of the age of Aquarius is not, of course, till 2117, but we are beginning to feel the Uranian Aquarian pulse, right? Especially with that Saturn square Uranus. That's really going to bring forth a lot of strong Saturnine and Uranian energies. Don't forget, Aquarius in Vedic astrology is the Mool Trikon sign of Saturn. And Saturn is a diurnal planet, and Aquarius is air and diurnal. So Saturn automatically functions much better in Aquarius than he does in Capricorn, which is another sign he rules. Now, when we talk about rulership and the like, we cannot avoid talking about the exaltation of Saturn. And the two luminaries, Saturn and Venus, Venus being the ruler of Libra, where Saturn is exalted, 21 degrees of Libra. Venus being the ruler of the sign where Saturn is exalted immediately establishes a deep connection between them. Although in Vedic astrology they are considered to be neutral to one another. Okay, so the first thing to understand is Aquarius determines the future. So the future path that we are going to take is being carved out by Saturn and by Venus. How? I'll get, more in depth about that. Venus is the fifth luminary, right? On the third orbit, right? And the thing with Venus is our five senses. Venus is how all the actors are put on the stage and how they perform. Venus is how we, experience this world that Saturn creates. So how does Saturn create this? Saturn brings in information from the fixed stars. Okay, and now as he's going through the Aquarius, and in Vedic he's going through Capricorn, he's going to touch certain energies. Certain, energies are going to seep through the nakshatras and the fixed stars, which he's going to bring down. And through Venus, he's going to distribute these energies. So that is why we need to understand the crux of this idea that Aquarius is the one that determines the future. Now, basically, Venus, being the fifth lord of the third orbit, is basically a cosmic reaction in esoteric astrology to the plane of the third lord, who is Saturn. So, action and reaction, we understand that. Saturn brings a kind of ethereal action that brews, and Venus is all about the reaction to that in the physical world. So the meeting of these two luminaries is really profoundly important in not only our very own physical bodies, but also in the world around us. The meeting of Saturn and Venus in Aquarius is obviously a harbinger of the future, a heralder of the future, right? So this is something that to understand again, that Venus is the reaction to Saturn. right? And always remember that Venus, it is the task of Venus to accomplish Saturn's vision. And by vision, I mean Saturn's vibration, Saturn's resonance. Okay, it is up to Venus to bring that into our local understanding. How do we understand all of these cosmic energies that are coming through, the solar system, out of the solar system, from Sagittarius A, which is the great attractor, and we are all being pulled towards the great attractor. And then we realize that not just us, all these galactic superclusters around us are being pulled to the great attractor. So there are these energies of Saturn being, the last invisible, the visible planet, not invisible, the last visible planet. It is really, when you see something, the experience is more direct. That's why Mars is direct. Mars rules the eyes. So when you see that Saturn being the last demarcation, and you can see through your naked eyes Saturn on a clear night, and then you realize the majesty of Saturn, its awesomeness, and you can bring some of that energy into yourself. And this is only through Venus that you can bring this energy into yourself. So Venus must accomplish Saturn's resonance, and this is what they are trying to do in Aquarius. Aquarius, Saturn loves Aquarius, tropical Aquarius, of course. This is a tropical video report. Now remember one thing, that Venus must play Saturn's music. So it's up to Venus. If Saturn is some kind of music composer, then Venus must orchestrate that symphony. So it is honestly up to the five senses, because we've got to look at the symbology. The five-pointed pentacle is our five senses through which we absorb and observe, enjoy, also the difficult things in life is Venus, because this is our direct experience with the five senses. Oftentimes they're pleasurable, desirable, sometimes they're not so pleasurable and desirable, right? So it is her task to play the resonance, the composed music of Saturn. We've heard of the music of the spheres. So it is honestly her responsibility to play the music of the spheres. She's one of the leading actresses in that operatic performance. Okay, and Venus is the composer. Saturn is the composer, right? We need to understand that. And also, when Saturn composes, Venus plays his music sometimes in majors, but a lot of the times also in minors, right? Because when we hear that deeply melancholic minor, when we hear Chopin play his minor tones, and it awakens something deep within us. So Venus not only plays major, it's all extroverted, forward going. Venus also plays minors, which is melancholic, poignant, soul stirring. So it's up to us, honestly, to receive the rays, because sometimes you need minors. You can't always just be done with majors. I mean, if you are one of those persons who say, I don't like minor music, it makes me sad, then I do not understand you, because I love melancholic music, operatic, dramatic, melancholic music. So that is again another experience of Venus that we must be open to embrace all. For we are co creating our future, and if we have this deep acceptance, I think this deep acceptance is honestly Saturn. He's composed the music. Venus has played the music. If we like it or we don't like it, if we like it or don't like it, we still have to accept it. So why not like it? Because after all, it is a cosmic symphony. How bad can it be? Saturn is karma. Once we understand that, things start to get a little clearer. For Venus is arranging all these actors on the stage according to the script written by Saturn. Saturn, the be all and end all of it all? No. He must answer to the sun. And he must also bring all of this information from the nakshatras and the fixed stars. So his job is profound. It is etheric, really, to bring out all of the celestial information for consciousness to observe itself. For how do we, experience this world without Venus? How do we touch one another? How do we cry? How do we laugh? And living deeply, I think, is the lesson that Venus and Saturn both try to teach us. Saturn calls for mastery. Venus is more, pleasurable, joy seeking. But Venus also has a mastery that, you need to understand the nuances of mastery. After all, every planet in their own way is trying to teach us mastery. Moon teaches us how to be the master of our mind, our emotions. Mercury teaches us how to express ourselves and how to be a master of that. Jupiter teaches us benevolence, beatitude, the glory of the divine. So all of these planets are, of course, a call to mastery, but Saturn specifically is a call to mastery of the physical realms, which the soul must go through before the soul starts spiraling upwards, and going to different dimensions. Meditation is also actually Saturn Venus combined. But you need to look at both of these to understand your true meditative quality. Jupiter is more ceremonial. If you want to look at your Jupiter, you see how ceremonial you will be, how ritualistic you will be. But and of course, Jupiter is also philosophy. Let's not forget that. But Saturn is also a type of a philosophy, the more dark, Kafkaesque philosophy, nevertheless. But honestly, it goes deep, right? The experience of Saturn and when Venus plays a minus is deep. And Venus often calls for body embodiment, being embodied in the physical body, the five senses, to grasp the fleeting sensations. You don't have to always make sense of them. For the soul does not only, the mind, of course, the soul for sure, but the mind does not only think rationally. There is a realm of intuition, there's a realm of the unconscious. And honestly, I think Saturn does dip into the unconscious a lot, especially with Aquarius. It's all things futuristic. That is why it's such a special meeting. Saturn, Venus, and Aquarius is honestly something to look forward to. Aquarius determines the future. And as we move into the Aquarian energy shift, we will all be embodying the Aquarius ascendant as a collective. In the collective, imagine your body and millions and billions of cells in it. One cell could be Leo ascendant, one cell could be, Taurus ascendant, one cell, although they're born together, but cells recreate. Remember that every 28 days, your physical body does change. So, it's crazy. I'm not even the person I was when I was born. So it's very interesting how I am the same person, but my body is constantly changing. So it doesn't matter if one cell is Taurus ascendant, but I am still a Leo rising, in the Vedic, and a Virgo rising in the tropical. You can't take that away. I'm still this person I was born to be, right? But the body does change. All the organs change. The skin changes. How beautiful is it? I've seen the snake shed its skin. We of course have the Ouroboros where the snake eats its own tail, and that is also so symbolic of Saturn devouring his own children, being Kronos. Time must devour all. We are Venus, the goddess's children, and Saturn must devour, and of course, we are Saturn's children. So once we understand that, we see how we must be devoured to be born again, to be devoured, because time, what we call Kala Chakra, does not, spare anyone. For the Pralaya must come. As the Manvantara must come, the Pralaya must come. And Shiva starts to play his Damaru. That is nothing but a nada. the nada to return to source again. So Venus and Saturn have a huge responsibility in Aquarius, okay, and that is why I felt like this video had to be made. Remember that we can conjure pretty much anything right now because Saturn gives us the force of meditation. It is Saturn that teaches us how to meditate on abstract space. Aquarius signifies abstract space, spatial concepts, understanding astrology. Aquarius rules astrology, right? Now, when a disciple is awakened, it is Saturn that awakens the disciple. Saturn blackens the soul, the power of negentropy or negentropy, which is blackening. Okay, so Saturn sort of brings forth a blackening. That's why Saturn is tamasic. Remember, I told you Saturn is tamasic. So, and also Saturn is very slow moving. So, you must develop patience. Saturn teaches us patience. For you, we may be like, oh my god, this is not moving, that's not moving. But what are our time scales in the great cosmic understanding? Time means nothing. To us, we are confined by time, Kala Chakra. Okay? That's why you must understand the secret of the Kala Chakra. That's what the Buddhists also believe. When the Dalai Lama takes his class of Kala Chakra in Dharmashala, there are like I think millions of people who come there to understand the concept of Kala Chakra. Because the soul must understand the concept of Kala Chakra to break out of Kala Chakra. And the Kala Chakra spokes are maybe Venus, but the Kala Chakra itself is Saturn. So a bhavana is a very important potentiality in a spiritual seeker. Bhavana in the Upanishadic understanding is the spiritual seed power that we come with, right? And the Tantras, the Upanishads, both of them they talk of two kinds of knowledge, right? Two kinds of knowledge. One knowledge is transcendental knowledge called para, signified by Saturn. What the second is transactional knowledge, signified by Venus, and that is known as apara, right? Para is vidya. Para, wisdom. Vidya is wisdom. Vidya is oftentimes a female deity, but in this case, it is wisdom. Para is Vidya. Vidya always liberates. Who is Saturn? Saturn is the great liberator. Para Vidya. Okay. Apara is avidya, that which binds. So the energy of Venus is a binding agent, right? A binding sort of an agent. That's why we have, in the polarities of Cancer Capricorn, the soul must be born through the womb in Cancer, and the soul must receive nirvana and mukti in Capricorn. This is very important to understand Vidya and Avidya. Vidya liberates, Avidya binds. Okay. Now, importantly, Saturn is Moksha Karaka. Moksha Karaka, that the one that takes you to liberation. And many Hellenistic astrologers have spoken about how Saturn is a great liberator. The Rosicrucians know about Saturn being the great liberator. Oftentimes they said that Saturn actually contains gold under all that lead. That is what propelled people to do alchemy, where they literally try to convert lead into gold. It is believed that there is gold in every single thing in the solar system, in me, in you, all around us, in Saturn and Uranus. This is what the ancients believed, the alchemists believed. They believed that because this is the solar system, the solar rays have deposited gold everywhere. So the process of Saturnine gentropy is actually to blacken the substance till everything is melted away and only gold remains. That is what the alchemists were trying to do. The more intelligent alchemists knew that this was not literally gold, lead into gold that was being spoken about, although that is also scientifically, technologically possible. Now the scientists discover it, but they were talking about the soul. So Saturn, creates a sort of a dark night of the soul and a gentropy. From that, everything else is burnt, but only gold remains. That is the true alchemy. He or she is the true alchemist. Okay, the internal gold. So para is vidya that liberates, apara is avidya that binds. Do we, forsake avidya because it binds? No, because we will not have this beautiful world to appreciate, to enjoy without that avidya. For Vidya must conceal itself, veil itself through Avidya, so we may enjoy the world through five senses. So consciousness, which is actually unitary, may become many to understand what it feels like to be me on YouTube talking about star stuff, or being Carl Sagan, or being a stripper, or being a mathematician, or being some kind of hacker. We all have different paths, and we all have different journeys, but ultimately we are all adding to knowledge the knowledge of the unitary self. So that unitary self must understand itself through us. That is why we are here. Saturn clearly shows us that as moksha karaka, and Venus is known as mangalaya karaka. Mangalaya means shubh, means auspicious. She is like Lakshmi in this case, okay, Mangalaya Karaka. So immediately we understand that the ancients knew that when Venus binds us, she's not doing anything inauspicious. This binding is very necessary for the soul to grow, for creation to take place, right? This is very important to understand Moksha Karaka and Mangalaya Karaka, right? One that liberates, one that binds, that one that, celebrates, one that enjoys. Soul needs enjoyment. Soul needs bliss. For the true state of the soul is only pure bliss. Satchitananda. Okay? So that is very clear, right? Now, a goal of Paravidya. What is the goal of Paravidya? That Saturn is a signifier of Mokshakaraka, Nirvana, or Mukti by a non-dualistic approach. Okay? Goal of Aparavidya is virtuous living. Virtuous living, of course, except a combust Venus, but virtuous living. That is what the Avidya teaches us. That's why Lakshmi is actually Venus, Venus Aphrodite. For Lakshmi keeps us bound to the material world, right? For we enjoy so much of this world that we refuse to let it go. The soul is here, playing different characters, different ideologies, different philosophies, and we're forever there like actors. So, virtuous living and Lakshmi and the physical life, right? It's very important. For instance, when you do, how do you invoke Lakshmi? You do puja mostly through Dakshinachara, right? Lakshmi is auspicious. Lakshmi doesn't like anger, Lakshmi doesn't like dirtiness or filthiness in the person as well, in the seeker. All must be clean, must be pure, must be virtuous, right? So, this virtuous living, oftentimes you will see Saturn signifies a non virtuous living. But that particular person may be living that non virtuous life because he is ultimately on the path to mukti. But the person who is, a very virtuous person, very clean, very hygienic, all white, may actually be caught in the quagmire of the samsara for much longer. I mean, these are really metaphysical speculations of enormous proportions. We can, ideate, cogitate, but we must, after all, surrender to the intuitive nudges that come through our ruminations, right? Ultimately, Paravidya is a surrender. That's why I have said many times that Saturn is a surrender. You must surrender. There is no other way. You can control Venus. The Venus does not like to be controlled, and there is something called the curse of Venus. But Saturn, you must surrender, right? Must surrender. So, Kularnava Tantra, okay, Kularnava Tantra said that the path of the koala is more arduous than clinging to the neck of the tiger. The kolachari is a dakshinachari, is a brahmachari, not a dakshinachari. Like, oh, I'll wake up in the morning, take a bath, change my clothes, chant my mantras. The koala has a completely different path, right? And that is, when I hear this, that a person is, the koala charas is very risky and you have to cling to the neck of the lion. And I think of the strength card in tarot. It's almost like this lion thing is very ancient, actually, subduing the lion. It's been mentioned in Sanskrit scriptures many times. So it brings that strength card to the mind, right? How we must have the strength to conquer the animal inside. Now, it is when we use Venus's powers to achieve mukti, right? Like in the Kola path, we do use Venus in the Kola path, right? We use things like methun, which is sexual congregation, right? We do, of course. It's not some kind of orgiastic party. It's if you do that with bhog, or I'm gonna enjoy, then it's gonna all get spoiled for you. But tantra done. But what is tantra? Tantra is like you use what's available to you and you rise above it. What's available to you? Food, alcohol, sex. Uh, all of this is available to you. So how can you use that to sort of power your spiritual energy? Tantra looks at people as they are. It doesn't try to put a more moralistic perspective or look at you from a vantage point and say, oh, those debased people. No. Okay, Tantra is very practical. It's like you've got these tools in front of you. How are you going to put them to use? What do? You go back home and have sex with your wife. So how may that be that ordinary, something that you do, something like you possibly don't even like to have sex with your wife anymore. But how do you make that sacred? How do you bring the sacred into the profane? I think this is how Venus teaches us mukti. I mean, it's all right to be an ascetic, renounce everything. I don't want anything. I want to go. But the soul does. And if bhog doesn't happen correctly, enjoyment, sensory enjoyment, sexual enjoyment, if that doesn't happen correctly, the soul is caught. The soul will forever keep trying to, come back and recreate, come back, recreate. So you have to enjoy what you do. You have to enjoy your body, you have to enjoy your mind, you have to enjoy your soul. The Kolachari uses Venus for mukti. Does he not use Saturn? Of course, Saturn is the power of meditation. But he uses things like alcohol, meat, sex, fish, mudra. Mudra is, ritualistic things that you do to raise your vibration to a certain degree to connect to the deity. There are many kinds of mudras. Okay, so it's like endless. There are many mudras, actually. Five primary mudras, a separate video. But these are sort of like enactments of the body, where the psychosomatic is working together in creating a vibration. Okay, if you look at Bharatnatyam and all the extremely, you know, yeah, I will. I have done many videos on Dasha Mahavidya. You can check them out, many videos, and I will be doing a Dasha Mahavidya video very soon. Just maybe not today, because I again have a reading after this. So we need to use Venus as a kolachari, to gain mukti. But this path can become deadly. if you get, hooked to the enjoyment, if you think that a tantric session is just a massage and, I'm going to get an orgasm after that, or oh my god, tantric session means a lot of people will congregate and they'll have sex and I can enjoy, bam, you're gone. You will be eviscerated by Shukra, Venus. Okay. Now, this path can become deadly dangerous, really difficult. Okay. If this seeker is tuned into the lower vibration of Venus. Venus is an operational malefic, bam, low morals. Always looking for your own enjoyment. Until and unless you do not balance that Venus, it can drag you down. Remember that. Saturn is definitely the physical world. It's hierarchies, Capricorn, right? Hierarchies. But it is the moksha karaka. So ultimately, it liberates us. It takes us beyond the physical world. Saturn gives us all these difficult things to do, trials, tribulations, because he wants mukti for us. He's like, wake up. Look, if everything is just pleasurable, everything's all right, and everything's fine. I keep getting like 100 to 1,000 people who are watching this live, and I get like 50,000 views. I'm like, forget it. I don't want to do videos anymore. Or do I care? I've got the subscribers now. I don't need to come. I don't need to do anything new. You have to work hard. Ultimately, Saturn is like, work hard, get out there. It doesn't matter who watches, who doesn't watch, get your job done. The right person will come along and they will need this video. And you will have to tell them this information because that's what I want. So it's really mysterious how this works, but this is how it works. If you give into the lower senses of Venus and try to use everything just for the sake of enjoyment, and you're all the time caught in that, you don't want to think of anything beyond that, you're gone. Your soul is lost in the quagmire of shit, right? So ultimately, we have to use the five things like alcohol, like sex, fish, meat, symbolically. So, excuse me, the true Kolachara may do these rituals. I don't do any ritual like that. I do Manas Puja. Okay. Yet I do in my Bagalamukhi Homam begin because I'm a Chinachara Tantric. I begin with alcohol whenever I create my yantra, my sacred secret sign with alcohol. But I don't literally drink alcohol to do sadhana like many kolas do. I don't eat meat. Eat meat, yeah, not meat, but meat. I don't eat fish. I don't eat eggs. I don't take dairy. So I'm a weird person basically, It's I use all of this symbolically. So how do I use them? When I think of alcohol, to me the alcohol is the soma, right? Soma from the Sahasrara chakra, which is here, right? The soma comes down through the Ajna chakra, but the Ida and the Pingala join together, and this is where they got the caduceus. The symbol of caduceus, of Mercury, is basically from here, because the snake comes up from your, no, I'm definitely not at liberty to discuss my siddhi, and why should I do that with you, honestly? It doesn't make sense. uh, Siddhis are for you to understand, not for me to come on video and brag about them while I'm already making a video about something very important. If you listen to that, that may just serve you, right, in some way, expand your understanding and knowledge. Whereas my siddhis will do nothing for you. Some woman online who spoke about her siddhis. How does that matter? Now, so once the caduceus of Mercury, it comes up onto the Ajna chakra, and then through sadhana will the nectar, the soma from the Chandra Mandala drop in through the Sahasrara, right? So this is very important. Alcohol is soma from Sahasrara, right? Uh, Especially when you do Khechari Mudra. That's a separate video, Khechari Mudra, so I'm not go into great detail about that here. But during the Khechari Mudra, the Soma, which is from the Chandra Mandala, must drop through the Ajna Chakra. And that is when true alchemy happens. Okay, that is the true alcohol they speak of. By the way, not real alcohol. Okay, meat. right? Meat, when you consume meat, symbolically you consume the animal within. So, you consume the animal within. So when I think of my Panchamakara ritual and I offer meat, I offer the animal inside of me. To take the animal sacrifice was actually that. The severance of the head of the goat was actually severance of the ego. But obviously, I do not support animal sacrifice. I live in ahimsa. I'm a vegan. So, just talking about animal sacrifice makes me sick. So, I offer my ego to the Devi. I offer my animal self to the Devi so I may better understand and help people, honestly. Now, fish. Fish is very important because fish swims through water, and fish here is symbolic of breath, of Ida and Pingala. I've explained to you there's 72,000 nadis in the physical body. The three most important nadis, again, I will make a separate video on the eight main nadis, but three main nadis are Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. So Ida circulates Apana, Pingala circulates Prana, and they, interchange. But when the Ida, through sadhana and pranayam and mantra sadhana, the Ida and the Pingala will, now the Prana and the Apana will come together in Sushumna. And that is when the Kundalini starts to rise. Okay, so this is a very precious understanding of what is meant by fish. Okay, fish, right? Now, when we talk about Methuna, or when we talk about, sexual, you offer sex to the goddess, it is basically the union of Shiva and Shakti. So, the lingam by itself is not only Shiva. The lingam by itself is not one a masculine. The lingam is Shiva and Shakti. So worshipping the lingam correctly, invoking the lingam correctly, doing abhishekam of the lingam, also bathing the lingam in water, and in many tantric, neo-tantric circles, lingam is a man's penis. That is a very wrong understanding of it. Lingam is actually not only Shiva, but there is a Devi's yoni and the lingam of Shiva. So it is an amalgamation of Shiva Shakti. When we offer sex to the goddess, we offer a union of Shiva Shakti within us. That is the Hyros Gamos. That is the great sacred alchemical marriage. Remember that, right? Mudra. Mudra is so beautiful because, as I said, Mudra is like a dance. If you look at Bharatnatyam, if you look at Kathak, if you look at any Indian dance, they have so many beautiful mudras. And when you see, say, for instance, Birju Maharaj dance, or you see some beautiful classical dancer dancing and, bringing all the bhavas of Krishna, Radha, it's a completely different experience. Your whole body gets elevated. So, mudras are done to raise the vibration and sublimation of the lower self. Okay, through hand gestures sublimating the lower self. The Buddhists are known to use hand gestures also to sublimate energy. The sublimation of base self can be accomplished through mantra, mudra, but mudra is very powerful. If you add mudras to your puja regime, you will see the change. For instance, I tell many of my students the basic avahana mudra, which must be shown to the deity. All right, that simple stuff really will change your life. So basically, now that we've understood the symbolical understanding of Venus to the five senses and Panchamakara that we have in Tantra, now we can say that when we visualize them in Manas Puja, we've actually sublimated Venus and established Saturn. Do you understand how Saturn is a force of meditation, like I already explained to you before? Right? Saturn is the force of meditation. So, symbolically, we can convert ritual worship of Venus into sublimation of the baser self, and we can use Saturn as a power of meditation. So this is how they interact, the great energies of Saturn and Venus. And they're meeting in Aquarius, and throughout this retrograde cycle, it's going to bring forth some tremendously beautiful things. I am so happy about this, and I'm so keen to see what it brings forth for all of us because, we are at such crossroads financially, you know, in every way, right? COVID 19 is not the enemy. The enemy is not even karma, for we reap what we sow. And that is the great lesson that Saturn is trying to teach us. That, you reap what you sow. So, what are you sowing? You're going to reap that. If you're going to eat a bat live, you will possibly have coronavirus. Do you know there are more viruses than there are stars in the observable universe? So it gives me some sort of fascination about viruses. Like, what are they? They are more than the more viruses on Earth, are more than the all the stars in the known universe. It's mind blowing. I don't even know how to process that information, right? And I hope Saturn reveals to me bit by bit as to uh, the true nature of viruses. Because a lot of people believe human beings are a virus. Prince Philip, for instance, he does believe human beings are a virus. I don't know about that. I don't. I'm a Kolachari, so I obviously believe that human beings are Shiva and Shakti. But it's interesting to see other people's point of view, because that is what we're here to do: learn, grow, laugh with each other. Get shocked at one another. It's a whole gamut of experiences that Venus gives us. She's only playing Saturn's music. Remember that. Saturn has decided this is the script, this is what's going to happen. Get the actors there, put them up, let them start. Bam, let's see what rolls. Saturn doesn't know what's going to roll. Nobody knows what's going to roll. It's a game. It's a simulation. So we've all got to. This is where free will comes into play. This is where you are literally in charge. Because oftentimes you think we keep asking the planets. I work with clients all the time. So it's always like, how do you correct this energy? How do you correct that energy? How do you do this? How do you do that? To me, it's I don't even ask the planets to correct my energy. I'm not even asking the planets. I only give them my energy. I tell them that, may I receive your highest rays, so I may give you the energy you need. I tell Saturn every day that, when I do my Pandraka Yantra mantra, it's a mantra I've done for like over 2 decades. Om Aim Reem Shreem Shaneshcharaya Namaha. And of course, his beej is Om Prang Pring Prong Sa Shaneshcharaya Namaha. So every time I tell Saturn that, may I be able to give you the energy you need in Aquarius to determine the future, to establish your vision. For you just met Jupiter, and you had all this real great brainstorming, and then you met Venus, and now what? Now what's coming? I want to give you my rays. I want to love you. I want to support you in your vision. When you start giving your energy to the planets, not necessarily always asking for something. It's great to have talismans. It's great to, want something, petition a planet for it. It's all good. I'm not in any way trying to demean people who do that. But after a certain point, I guess, souls like me have already done that for so many lifetimes, that we just want to give. People like me just want to give Saturn my rays, my highest rays, so Saturn may accomplish his vision in Aquarius. And there, as I'm talking about Saturn, I have my she's too big to really pull up, but I have my Saturn always with me. Her name is Uma, by the way, like the goddess. Hello. Yeah, she's a rescue, by the way, Uma, and she's my Saturn. She's almost 10 years. Can you see her? I hope you guys can see her. She doesn't do any tricks. My dogs don't do any tricks. They're absolutely spoiled brats. All they do is sit around. They want, even if I'm doing my videos, they want to be petted. Like, I have to keep doing this while I'm doing my videos. So my hands are oftentimes down, because then she's lying on my lap, and then I just puts her uh, like that. She comes on my lap and like, oh, look. Now she's pulling my thing because she always wants attention. So she's gonna grab my. Oh, there the hand paw. The paw is always out, grabbing me when I'm working, when I'm writing, not taking into consideration that she may destroy my already destroyed laptop. But she is like that. It's my very own Saturn, and a very, very powerful dog. She's unlike any dog I've ever met. Unlike any dog I've ever met, and she's a rescue. I rescued her and four of her brothers and sisters from the street. I actually stopped and rescued them because one of her brothers, his name was Bhola, he passed away. He had a disability, so he didn't have the two back legs, the two hind legs were not working. And somehow, I felt so sad that I just picked them up, and my whole family was against it. And everybody I know was against it. They thought I was crazy to just pick up five dogs from the street and bring them home. And I basically lost many friends, and they were always like, "Are you crazy?" And I have always been, of course, rescuing and fostering animals. Like you guys can oftentimes hear them barking in the background because sometimes I do bring in rescue foster animals, or if a dog is hurt, or if a cat is hurt, or even birds sometimes. And I tend to provide care for them, and I tend to release them back. Sometimes I neuter street animals, many street animals I neuter. Come on. I wish you could see her, but I'm just in the shorts, not anything really much to show you the camera there. Come up, come on, come. Let me put my glasses away before she, come. I'm gonna try to get her, which I don't know if it's possible. I also have a black cat. Peacock has a lot of symbology. Peacock is our national bird. And actually, as I was talking yesterday, I think the Uchishta Ganpati video that I made, I spoke about the peacock and how looking at the peacock, you can actually see all the colors of all the planets. You may say that, oh, I don't see red anywhere, but look at a peacock in the sunlight, a peacock feather in the sunlight, especially when the peacock opens up his wings. It's so crazy. I have lived. Wow. Okay, that is really good luck. That is really, really good luck. And this is my second rescue. Hey, stop! I sometimes they do start a fight, but this is my other dog. Is also a rescue from the road, and hello, and she is about 9 years of age, extremely naughty, and you will not believe her name. Her name is Isis. Isis. So as I was going to make a video soon, depending on the muhurta and depending on depending on the thing, I was going to make a video to tell you guys, please do donate because I am being evicted out of my place and I take care of 17 rescue animals, and I also provide food for 10 animals outside. So, it's really daunting now that I have to move, and I was hoping to, and I had a lot of crazy things happen. I'd see my dog's already tapping like, hey mom, finish, are you done? So this is what I have to deal with, even when I'm doing client calls, when I'm anything, like tapping me on the leg, tapping me on my head in the morning, like, hey mom, get up. But in the morning I get licked by my cats, like, please wake up, although they free feed. Not like they're hungry that they need me. When I wake up, I give them all wet food. So that's when they're, oh my God, mom, wake up, wake up, wake up. But other than that, they always have dry food out for them. So I don't know why they have to get so desperate. Somesh, I vocalize very well, by the way, because I'm also an animal communicator, and I also provide Reiki, and I also connect with animals that have crossed over. So I vocalize very well, by the way. But my cats. Oh wow, that is so cool. So much, so much. Psst, psst, psst. So much, so much. So I was gonna make a video, of course, where I want to show you all of my cats and all of my dogs. I have three dogs now. I sadly lost two dogs this 2020. My Dakshul was already 12 years, 11 years, 11 months old. So my Dax passed, and she was like my life, and this was the second Dax I had. I grew up with the Dax in my parents' house, so that was a complete heartbreaker, destroyed me. But of course, working in rescue, I have seen a lot of devastation, lot of devastation. I also have Ketu in my eighth house in the Vedic system. So, I've seen a lot of death, a lot of death, a lot of death. So, yeah, but, in all this melancholy, in all this sadness, I can say that I have lived, and I live every single thing to the best, to the deepest, to the best of my ability. And I go deep and embody these experiences. I don't judge my emotions, or I don't judge myself anymore. I used to. Uh, Ultimately, it didn't lead me anywhere, because judging myself uselessly, it did nothing for me. So I realized that it's okay. It's okay no matter what happens. A lot of tragedy happened to me in my life, a lot of stuff happened. Saw a lot of death, a lot of, also being psychic since I was a child was a complicated thing. It wasn't easy. I don't make beef curry. I am vegan. So I feed them only canned food from Royal Canine, and I only feed them a kibble from Royal Canine. So I don't cook beef, I don't cook lamb, I don't eat all of that. I don't give them vegan food, I give them non-vegetarian food, but only food that I buy in stores. Sadly, I don't handle meat. I don't touch meat. So that way, I'm all for ahimsa, all for non-violence, and stuff like that. So anyway, I think this particular one went quite far, almost an hour. But it was nice being out here talking to you, laying down some of these important things that we are about to experience with Venus and Saturn. I hope I can come tomorrow as well, but I don't know tomorrow. I have a talk already with a Malaysian think tank, sort of World Economy Forum. Now we are talking about job disbursement and stuff about career post COVID, which is quite an important topic. And I have a lot of talks with them. As I'm a speaker, I speak on multiple platforms. So tomorrow I may not be able to. I'll try to do something in the daytime, because I'm trying to get together a lot of content and put it all out. Like you can get your sun, moon, ascendant video, your big three, for as little as 11.11. Okay, $11.11, very little. You can PayPal me and give me your big three. If you don't know, give me your date of birth. I will figure it out, and I will make possibly the best and cheapest report you can find. It'll be about 15 minutes long. I've made over 300 400 videos like that, sun moon ascendant combination. You can check them out, and you can order your own, or you may gift it to somebody for their birthday, or you may just want to gift it to your mom, dad, or if you have a kid, you may want to know about your kid's big three. I'm open, of course, to readings, but readings are very detailed, and you know not so cheap. But to get a video for your big three combination is 11 cents, $11.11. So oh wow, that is so nice. I have to raise a lot of funds, otherwise I'm going to be stuck in a little hole with 16 animals. And my animals are not young, they're already old. And I also foster animals. So it's gonna get hard if I can't raise the money. And I'm the sole bread earner, so there's nobody helping me, not my mom, dad, or my husband, or anybody. It's just me. So it's really kind of you. And please, people, you don't have to donate. If you want to get something out of it, you can get to my OnlyFans page, where I'll be doing some really awesome uh, sexual astrology, erotic astrology, how you can be a better lover, how you can better go on dates, and how you can be irresistible. I also intend to enact little things over there, but that is again a separate video, my OnlyFans page, what I intend to do with that. uh, you know and of course, you can give me any money. It's a $25 subscription per month. Also, you can join my Patreon. I've not put a tier yet, because all of this is just, I'm just putting out all of this information, so I don't want to restrict it. I want to give it out to as many people as possible. So in fact, my appeal is to people who can donate and give me the support, so I can just come out and create a ton of content without having to worry about anything, so everybody can have access to this content. It's Astrology is going to become huge. Okay, it's already, the Silicon Valley guys have deemed it a billions of dollars on this. Okay, deemed it a $1 billion market. So I think it's worthwhile. For AI is also indexing us, so it's also worthwhile to put out all our knowledge, all our information. Kids are interested, so help me, support me in any way. My phone also that I record with is honestly on its last leg, and I want to get that Note 21 Samsung. It's a very good phone, and I do also intend to get a proper mic. This mic sounding so tinny. And some pro lights as well. And so kindly consider either subscribing to Patreon. Booking a reading, of course, is awesome. Book a reading, or subscribe to my Patreon, or subscribe to my OnlyFans, or just send a straight PayPal donation through at Tina, through my email ID, tina@tinahills.com, or that's pretty much it for now. Okay. Of course, my merchandise. Check out my merchandise. I have a ton of crystals available. I have a gorgeous ankh. Still a few pieces are available. I have chunks of very powerful citrine and amethyst, and a ton of that other kinds of crystals, of course, earrings like this. And you did see my labradorite necklace that I designed. So please, you can book any of that, or you can book a reading. Drop me an email if you want to know more. It was so nice talking to you. Thank you for being here. Take care. Bye bye. Bro,